Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my unhinged bestie, Jessica.
That title fits, it really does. So if you haven't figured it out by that lovely introduction, today's video is unhinged female main characters and male main characters in romance.
I struggled on the female side.
I had a couple, but not as many. Like, I love an unhinged male character. Like, I love an unhinged hero. But I did have a couple females. I didn't think I'd have any, but I had a few. So,
And
yeah.
I also am not using like what would be if somebody's like, I need an unhinged hero. I would definitely go to like C.R. Jane if they haven't read that. I decided not to use any of those because I feel like those are, I mean, they're really good. So there's a reason they're well talked about. But I think if people are looking for unhinged, they've probably already gone that route.
Yes.
Speaking of unhinged, Noelle is also unhinged. Seriously, ignores me all the time.
Until we do this.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I know a lot of people when they think unhinged, they think Sinner's Playground by H.D. Carlton. I didn't pull that one. It's talked about way too much. So we have other ones for you guys. So, but before we get started with that,
well, we would love it if you would subscribe and hang out a while, like and comment our video. We love hearing from you guys.
what is Noelle doing?
She's trying to eat my hair because she's unhinged.
Oh.
She's demonstrating how to be unhinged.
She is. I was like, what is she eating on your chest? Okay, well, let's start talking about some unhinged heroes and heroines here.
She's very happy. Can you hear her purring?
No,
Oh.
Okay, so the first book that I have is Lawless God by Lola King. This is an unhinged hero. This is about Kayla and Nathan. This is like the fourth book in her North Shore series, but this is the very first North Shore series book that I read, so I read them out of order. You'll be fine. So Kayla is the leader of a gang on the North Shore. This is where like there's a lot of gangs in this area. There's a lot of fighting and a lot of that kind of stuff happening. And she gets thrown into a situation where Nate, who is this psychopathic mafia guy, she gets thrown into a situation where they're trying to create an alliance with him, or the rival gang has created an alliance with him, and they're trying to steal that back. And when she gets into a situation with him, he uses sex to manipulate her. Like it's like, okay, I'll do what you want, but you're going to give it up. And she really doesn't like that. And so what ends up happening is there's a murder that takes place, and she ends up framing him for the murder and going to court. And even though he didn't do it, going to court and testifying against him and getting him thrown in prison. So then we see her about 5 years later. I think it's like 4 years later. She's running her gang, and she gets a phone call one day when some things start happening. They're just a little odd. And she gets a phone call one day, and it is from the prosecuting attorney saying that, hey, by the way, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a couple of months now. He got out on a technicality. He's been out, and just wanted to give you that heads up. And when she turns around, there is Nate after getting that. And so he ends up kidnapping her, locking her down, keeping her captive, and forcing her to marry him while doing other unhinged things because, hey, it's love. You got to do what you got to do to get the woman you want. He wants revenge too. So he's a little crazy.
Well, I have a brother's best friend that you could get behind.
Okay. All right. Tell me about him.
This is Such a Good Guy by Kate Raven.
Oh, yeah.
So in this, we have Luke, who is such a good guy, and then we have Luna. So Luke is best friends with Luna's brother, and he's been around the family for many years, and he has been kind of secretly in love with Luna. But he is extremely unhinged. He wants, like, he pays attention to everything about Luna, and if she makes like a comment about something just even offhandedly, he makes like a mental note of that and goes to town on it. So if somebody bothers her, he takes care of it. And he's unhinged. And he decides that the two of them need to be together and he's tired of being such a good guy. So when she comes to he gets her to come visit him and he is being such a good guy and taking care of everything for her. And that includes taking her passport so she won't be able to leave and all sorts of crazy stuff. So he's like this unhinged golden retriever.
Mm-hmm. But you never thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Okay, I still need to read that one. Like I really, really do.
It's
So
really good. It's just so
yeah.
different because usually unhinged means like everything is going to be really dark and kind of gritty feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
this, he's just like a ray of sunshine and just such a good guy. But
Yep.
behind the scenes, he's really not.
Yeah, yeah. I actually need to message Kate because she does have an Omega verse coming out, and I think it's in August. I'll have to message her and find out and let everybody know in our TBR video. But she writes some great heroes. I do think this will be under the Rivenhall name though, so it might be a little much, but a little taboo. Okay, so the next book that I have is one that's a little light on the unhingedness, but it is unhinged. Our heroine, she's just had a really hard time here. So this is a unhinged heroine. This is Dying to Love by Reese Rivers. So this is a post-apocalyptic why choose romance, and I'm calling our heroine, who is Kelsey, unhinged because she has been alone. Her friends that she is in this compound that she created this compound with when the zombies attacked is like she's been alone for 400 days, so they've all died and she is alone, and sees her best friend's ghost. She talks to her best friend's ghost. She has what she calls a hen party, so she's dancing with the chickens. She's really starting to lose it. So in order to survive the apocalypse, now that she's alone, she's seeing things and doing things and talking to herself and just kind of losing her mind a little bit, until one day these four guys break through her barrier. So there's two walls around their compound, and they break through the first wall, or they scale the first wall, and they have an injured friend with them. And when she confronts them, she's very leery, she's very worried, but she eventually allows them into her compound, and they become her sanity. They kind of keep her from going a little crazy, but she still has moments. She still talks to her best friend quite a lot, who's no longer there, even though she sees her. So, you know, this is one that's lighter on the unhingedness, but she does have some unhinged moments.
Okay. Well, I am going to take it back to one of my favorite unhinged characters, and we just saw him in his father's book, Hello, Noel.
I know.
Again,
Well, all right,
let's
let's
talk
talk about
about
Rocco.
unhinged. Right here, Noel is
Mm-hmm.
unhinged. Look at that unhinged face.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna take it back to his book. So that is Deception by BJ Alpha, and this is Rocco. So Rocco is very unhinged. He does all sorts of insane things to get his woman, but really he's just doing it to get his woman. Like I mean, how can we fault him for that, right? So he sets up like I mean, he is dedicated to this. So he has grown up in the mafia. He is still a teenager, but he is definitely very much a made mafia man because of how he's grown up. And he has fallen for the police chief's wife, and he does not like how the police, oh my gosh, Noel, how the police chief treats his wife. He is in love with Hallie. He doesn't like how the police chief treats her, and so he goes through a lot of painstaking, like unhinged steps to get her. He stalks her, he does stuff to her lotion. Um, and once he finally gets her, there is no stopping Rocco. So
Mm-mm.
I loved it.
Oh yeah, Rocco is the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give anything away, but he goes to extremes.
Yeah.
To make this situation happen.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about one of my favorite unhinged characters. Like he's just one of the top out there, and that is hold on. I want to make sure both books stay open. I got to put it under my boobs. That is Sergey, who is in Hidden Truths by Neva Altaj. I love his craziness. Like
He is a good
oh yeah, he's my
unhinged
fave
character.
for sure. So this is about Angelina and obviously Sergey. So Sergey is a part of the Bratva. This is the third book, so you probably should read the first two. I don't know that you 100% have to, but you probably should because we see him in the first two. But so he's in the Bratva. They find out that there is going to be, the Bratva finds out that there's going to be a shipment of, I can't remember if it's guns or no, girls that are coming across the border from Mexico that are being smuggled in on this truck from the cartel. And so they go to stop that basically and to rescue these girls. They find there's gonna be one girl. That's what it's one girl. It's been a while, guys. One girl is supposed to be on there. And so they stop the truck and Sergey gets in the truck, and that is when he sees Angelina. She's very dehydrated, very emaciated. She's got like she just doesn't look the greatest. She even says to herself she couldn't smell the greatest either. And he picks her up and he cradles her and he's like, "This is mine right here." And he takes her and puts her in the truck with him before he blows up the giant truck. But Angelina is on the run. So she is a cartel princess. Her father was just murdered by a rival dude who he thought was an ally, and now that dude was trying to force Angelina to marry him, and she didn't want to. So she was smuggled out of the compound and put onto this truck. And then we have where Sergey, the reason why he's unhinged is because he's gone through this like military type training, and he has moments where he like completely blinks out and doesn't know what he's doing. He goes on murder sprees. He does crazy things. Like he is just begging Luca for a tank. He wants a tank really, really bad. Like he is unhinged. I don't want to say in a fun way, but the things that he does to protect Angelina are absolutely crazy, but it's awesome to see. Like, I love his unhingedness so much. It's just, it almost makes it lighthearted in certain points when it shouldn't.
Yeah, and then he continues to be unhinged in the following books as well.
Yes, and I love it. And she has some, Neva on her website has some amazing character art that was done by an artist that we use quite a bit. And there's one of him sitting on the tank with Angelina and their toddler. It is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I think you haven't read the last one where he does something like really crazy.
No, that's the next one I need to read.
I'm pretty sure the one where he does like the really crazy thing you have not read.
I don't think I have because I remember you mentioning it and I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay. And Neva has a new book coming out at the end of the month.
She does. She does. Yep. So okay. Next.
Okay. So my next one is an unhinged heroine.
Okay.
If we can call her that.
Okay.
So that is The Five by Lily White. So you've read this one.
Yes.
And it's definitely, the whole book is kind of unhinged if you really want to get technical on this. So this is a little bit hard to talk about because it is kind of a thriller, psychological romance type situation. So it makes it a little bit tricky to not give anything away. So I'll do my best to just be somewhat brief about it. So we have Rainey. Rainey is going, she was the only survivor in like a pretty horrific murder where several people were murdered in this house. And the psychologist, Justin, is sent to interview her to try and figure out what happened, who did this, and why she was the only one that was left alive during this. And so he goes to interview her and she won't talk to him about how, like, from the point of like that evening, she wants to back way up. And so she starts her story actually years before this happened. And the story is him listening to her tell him about stuff. But she's unhinged and he knows that there's some things here that aren't adding up and he's trying to figure out what's going on. But she's also got she's very alluring, I guess is how I'll put it. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know if there's anything else I can really say
I
about
don't
this
know.
story.
It would be hard
It's
to give things away.
it's very
Hard not to.
different. I
Yes.
will say that. And the whole premise is kind of unhinged, but she is definitely, I mean, when you start reading it, you're like,
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Question everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
but very good.
Man, it is. Yeah, for sure. The audio is good too. I listened to the audio. So, okay. Well, the next one I have is an unhinged hero. This is Possessing Eden by Izzy Sweet and Sean Moriarty. Yes, you can read this as a standalone, even though it is like number 7 in their Disciple series. So in this book, you have Eden. She is married and she has a 9-month-old baby, her 9-month-old son, and her husband is abusive and her husband is cruel to them. And she ends up loading up her baby and fleeing. And she flees to her uncle, who is like a small time crime boss in the slums kind of a thing. And he says he'll protect them, he'll take care of them as long as she spies on the disciples for him. So the disciples are a huge crime syndicate in the city. And so she goes to work at this casino to spy on these guys. And she is caught by Jude, who is absolutely crazy, and he can see through her ruse right away, and he basically claims her. He will do anything to keep her as his, and he is a psychopath, like he or a sociopath. I can't remember what it is, but he is crazy. He's the crazy one of the bunch. He does the crazy things, but he decides that he is going to keep Eden. Eden is going to be him or his. That baby is his, and he will be putting another one in her right now. And I just loved it. It was so good. It was just the greatest. So, but yes, you can read this as a standalone. He's cray cray.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my next one is an unhinged hero, but our heroine is a little unhinged in her own right.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Reckless Obsession by Deborah Garland. And so we have Owen and Jillian. So Jillian is the DA. She's trying to prosecute Owen's brother. Owen's family is Irish mafia, I believe. And so they have money, and all of a sudden the case just kind of falls apart on her. And she goes to the bar to kind of drown her sorrows. And Owen shows up, and she gets pretty tipsy and ends up going home with him. And Owen decides that he really likes Jillian. And Jillian has decided that this has awakened her sexual side. And so she decides to get on an app. And this is where she gets a little unhinged, but he will beyond blow that out of the water. She decides that she's going to get on this app. So she was a virgin until this point. And now she decides that she's had this sexual awakening. She is going to get on this app, and she wants somebody who's going to wear a mask and, basically take her. And Owen finds out about this and is not okay with it. So he creates a fake profile as someone else so he can be her stalker hookup person. And so then he is going and doing these things with her while still trying to be Owen and get her as well. And so he does unhinged things. He breaks into her phone, so only he is the only, his persona is the only one that can respond to her. I mean, it just gets wild, and I loved it.
I like them when they're a little off their rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, my last one is a little bit of an unhinged heroine. I think like the hero's also unhinged in this one, but the heroine's definitely unhinged. And that is The Darkness We Hide by Brynn Ford. And I will hold up my book here in a second. Here we go. Okay, so this is the first part in a duet. She is still currently writing, and the second one, and she puts out little teasers about it quite often, but she's still working on it. It'll be here hopefully by the end of the year. But this is Gemma and Oz's story. So in the beginning of this book, Gemma is we find out that she was assaulted by 4 guys. So this is set kind of in a dystopian future where if you commit a crime like a bodily injury type crime where you try to hurt someone, then you are sent to Lawless land, which is basically the Mojave Desert and Las Vegas with a big wall around it. Like nobody can survive out there, kind of a thing. And so in order to get back, she's kind of lost her mind a little bit, and because of the attack, and she has gone after the 4 guys who brutally raped her, and she has live streamed their demise as she's taken them out of this world. Live on camera for everybody to view. And she did this because the 4th guy was actually sent to this Lawless land. And she knows that if she can get convicted, she'll get sent out there. Now, is it a death sentence? Of course it is. But she doesn't care. She wants vengeance. And so that is what happens. She ends up getting taken into custody and taken to the wall. And then she gets sent through. And right as she sees the person that she wants to get, this guy shows up on a motorcycle, kidnaps her, and takes her with him. And that is Oz. And he wants her. So she's kind of lost her mind a little bit because I don't know, you couldn't pay me enough to be like, yeah, let me go try and survive in the Mojave Desert. Shoot. My body would not be able to survive that. First
You'd
5
be
minutes,
all
I'd be out.
rashed up in an hour, and nobody would want
Hour,
you.
10 minutes, I'd be like, I gotta go, I gotta get out of here.
You would look like you were rabid
right.
at some point.
It would. Foaming at the mouth. Yeah, probably. Okay, what's your last book?
Well, before I talk about my last book, I also wanted to mention, and I forgot when I was talking about Sierra Jane for an unhinged heroine, and I feel like this one is wildly popular, but it's wildly popular for a good reason, would be the Mindfuck series. So if you're also looking for an unhinged heroine, that is another great option if you've not read that. But we're trying to just bring ones that maybe don't pop into your mind when you think of the unhinged heroes and heroines.
Exactly.
So my next one is an unhinged hero. I didn't have the heroines. I
think heroines are harder to find, and sometimes, now this is my thought, because I've tried to read a few where they're unhinged, and they're done in a way that they're just obnoxious. So it's hard. It is hard for authors, I'm assuming, to write an unhinged heroine.
Obnoxious.
An unhinged heroine that doesn't come off as obnoxious. So I see that's a struggle. I get it.
I thought about All My Love by Daisy Jane because like she stalks the neighbor and does some unhinged things, but it's not unhinged in like, I mean, I guess you could argue that she's a little deranged in her thinking, but it's a very sweet, like unhinged, like she believes they're soulmates. So while I mean, she's definitely a stalker and all that, I don't find her as unhinged.
Well, and I just read one this week that I thought about using for this and I didn't, and it's Broken by Serena Ackroyd. And our heroine seems a little unhinged. She believes she's a Nephilim, but she has a brain tumor, and we find this out very early in the story. So, and that's our assistant, right? And that's affecting the way she believes. So, is she really unhinged? Those are those kind of things where I was like, I don't know. So, yeah. Noelle, you're a pain in the tush.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So who's your last one?
Okay. My last one is Mine by Amanda McKinney. So this is about Sabine and Astor. And Astor, he... Oh. I can't concentrate, Noelle.
Speaking of unhinged.
What?
Speaking of unhinged.
Yes. She's making me unhinged at this point. Okay. So Astor gets this message basically that his estranged wife has been taken, and if he wants to get her back, he needs to show up. So he goes, quickly figures out it's a setup, that they're not going to give him back his wife. So he takes the guy's daughter, who is an adult, hostage, and he takes her back to his place to hold her captive. Well, she is not happy about this. We have like red flags everywhere happening here. And he like kills someone for looking at her. He gets into fights with people for talking to her. Like, he is just super unhinged about his captive that he has started to fall for. And what else? This is a romantic suspense, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the estranged wife and everything that I don't want to give anything away for. But like, he is an unhinged alpha hero in this story. Like, it is beyond touch her and die vibes here.
Okay.
There's no vibes. It is
It just
touch her and
is.
die.
It is what it is. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, there you go. There's some unhingedness for you.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's safe to say that quite a few of these books have trigger warnings, so make sure to check those.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
All right. Well, make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and usually Wednesdays for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video.